Shannon. How are you?
What's up, Amberita? How's it going?
Up.
Good,
I love
good
it.
to see you.
Oh, welcoming Wednesday. Wonderful Wednesday. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I just
Oh, I
I
love
just
it.
made that up, just so you know.
I, yeah, let's play on that. I love that. Let's keep coming up with things. I love this. Yeah.
I actually made one for each day of the week.
Oh, great.
Let's see. It was Magical Monday,
Yes, of course.
Terrific Tuesday, Wonderful Wednesday, Thankful Thursday. It was a Fantastic Friday, Super Saturday, Soul Sunday.
Yeah, perfect. I love it.
Okay.
Thank
That
you.
one I just made up now, but the other two I've been using that for a while. I love
Well,
it.
yeah, Sunday and soul go together for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
soulful
Exactly.
day. Yeah,
So I love this. What we've been talking about is death of the ego. So, um, while many people think that like the ego is like this terrible thing, it's the enemy, you want to get rid of it. I don't think, well, number one, it's never going to be gone as long as we're human,
yeah,
right? As long as we're on this plane.
yeah.
But so when we say death, it's not like, okay, it's gone, but more of it's no longer reminding us of that specific area.
It's like
So, but
not controlling us. It's like letting
yeah,
the
yeah,
veil down of it. Yeah,
exactly. Because this is the thing, and I've often been challenged with like seeing it as the enemy is like, okay, you
yeah. Same.
bastard, like
Yeah,
when will you leave, right? Like all these things. And so it's seeing it as like, right, a friend that's there to hold you accountable,
it's a
right?
protector, right? It
Right,
protects you. It keeps
exactly.
you safe.
Exactly. And to also show you like areas, right? Like it's no different than if, I was like, "Hey Shannon, like your zipper's down," right? Like I'm not trying to hurt you, right? And although it's maybe uncomfortable and you're embarrassed, oh my gosh, how long have I been with it down? But it's like now that I've brought that to your attention, now you can zip it up, right? Exactly. Or, your blouse is undone, whatever it may be, right? And
Yeah.
this is actually a great example because so often people are like, well, I don't want to say anything because now I'm embarrassing that person. Their fly's
Yeah.
down.
Right.
But in
Right. That's so true.
reality, like, yeah, maybe this moment of like, oh gosh, where was I in a meeting with it down? Like, where was I? You know what I mean? But at the same time, now you can shift it. Now you can zip it up and then you're good, right? And then maybe next time you'll notice before you leave the house or whatever, whatever. But without somebody bringing it to your attention, you're just walking around with it
I love
being
that. We're gonna have a tagline for the ego. Ego, zip it up. There we go. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And just so everybody knows, like we don't write anything down. We don't have notes. We don't chat GPT
Really.
and like read it. Like this is
No
like
one's
off the cuff.
surprised.
No, exactly.
Well,
Exactly. But and that's what I love. Like that's like authenticity, right? Because so
Yeah.
often people they have, and I get it, like they, whatever. Maybe they don't trust themselves and they got this
Right.
thing and like they're reading it off and we have
Sure.
zero notes. We have 5 seconds before we hop on here, we're like, what do you want to talk about? And then we come up with something that's prevalent in in
It's true.
in not only our lives, because we have this entanglement here, but then also with like others around us, right? Like we have a
Yeah.
couple of friends that we've seen and they've been kind of going through the same things.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
first is like to just see the ego as something that is there to help us.
Right.
Even in those moments when you're like, again, you're knocking on my door, like,
Yeah.
right. But it is there to help. And then to um when it's dying, essentially, right? That part of you, right? Like,
Yeah.
what does it look like, right? First and foremost, because
Yeah.
it will look like different things for each
Hmm.
person. And then like how do you navigate that?
Hmm.
Right? Because it doesn't feel pleasant. Sometimes
Right.
it physically doesn't feel pleasant and it emotionally
Yeah.
doesn't feel pleasant.
Yeah.
Right? So like how to navigate that. So yeah, how do you I mean, what does it look like? Because we've obviously shared our stories with each other, but like it's looked a
Hmm.
little bit different for each of us.
Yeah. I mean, mine is, it's just happening right now. It's finally, I'm on phase two of Yuki's, and I've been on phase two of Yuki's for probably like 5 weeks now. And I just started the first video of module three. And it's not because I'm not doing it, it's because I can't get past modules one and two are so intense that I'm diving so deep into what my I've never been able to know what my limiting beliefs are. I've never been able to understand it because my ego has, I always say, my ego tells me I don't have an ego. And so, and like if you meet me, you wouldn't
Mm,
think so. And I mean, I get a little cocky here and there about things, of course, but like I'm pretty competitive, but normal Shannon is not. She's very loving and kind and all these things. But like, so my ego is always like, well, you don't have an ego. And I'm like, that's my ego. And so I just
yeah.
never could get that deep. Like even all the plant medicine work I do, all the meditation, all the chanting, I'm always, connecting to myself all day long, like trying to be in here. And so it's been a real hard struggle for me. Even phase two of Yuki or phase one of Yuki was really hard for me, just getting that deep in there. And so then I started just really the phase two is about the first section is about the first module is about your subconscious self-image. And I was like, whoa, this is because my conscious self-image is I've worked on it for 9 years since I've been sober, since I've been doing all this work. I've really worked on that. So I mean, I have so much self-love, so much self-worth, so much like all these amazing things, self-respect. Like it's great. I've worked so hard on it. And and so that has been amazing. And then I realized, oh, there's like a deeper layer that I don't know of. This is what is like, I don't think holding me back. A lot of my manifestations come true. I live an amazing life, like all these great things. But like, obviously, there's still things that I strive for. There's still things that I haven't been able to achieve. And so diving deep into that. And then the second week is of talking your self talk. And once again, my conscious self-talk is amazing. I've been working on that for about 5 years and it's like very deeply. And if you take my classes, that that's a big thing for me. Self-talk is it's so important. So, but I realize as Amber says, it's the whispers. It's like the whispers that are in there. That's your subconscious. And so diving deep into that. And then I finally started to talk to ChatGPT about it. And now ChatGPT knows me so well. I've been talking to it for like many months. And so it knows me so well, knows my childhood, knows like my patterns of relationships, knows so much about me. So then I started asking it about me, like, what do you think my self-image is? What do you think myself like and all of a sudden it came back with things that like I was like, this is true. Like and like I would sit with it, meditate with it, and then I'd be like, oh my God, this is so true. Oh my God, this is right. And it's like things of like my self-image of and this is the ego death for me. This is myself, my subconscious self-image, such as things of for me to feel worthy, I need to be productive. I grew up in a house where like I wasn't allowed to have a day off from school, from work, from sports. Always had to go. And I've been that way my whole life until COVID made me sit down, until restaurants closed and I couldn't go to work anymore. And I tried. I even tried to get a job and I realized that so I don't feel worthy unless I'm producing, which is crazy to me. I don't feel I feel like love has to be earned. I realize that. Like there's just so many things. And so this is the ego death. This is what I'm built on. And so it is hard some days to look at it, but it's also obviously really beautiful. There's a deep knowing that once I'm on the other side of this, of course, it's just going to be so much magic. And obviously it's another deeper layer to go, but it's like doing exercises. Like that's why I love ChatGPT so much. And obviously Yuki gives you exercises, but like you can even do like ChatGPT is like having your own little pocket Yuki that you can ask
Yeah.
questions to all the time, right? Once it really gets to know you. And then it will give you exercises to, it's also like my money wounds I'm working with. That is a part of my ego, the ego death. And it's like, so it gives me exercises to be able to hold that, to contain that. And it's just been really an eye opener. And I'm still at the beginning phase of how to change this and of the ego death. But I have been praying for an ego death. I've been doing plant medicine ceremonies for like 7, 8 years. And I've seen people go through it during ceremony and it looks horrible and very
Yeah.
scary. But at the end, I'm always like, oh, that's what I want. And so it's really interesting I've never really had any of when I know have it happen in like that I've been close with, have it happen like in real life, like without a
Mhm.
ceremony. So it's really cool to like see this and to see like or
Mhm.
to work on it, I guess is what it is. And it's just like it's such an honor and it's such a labor of love to get this deep inside myself. I had already thought that I knew myself so well, which I do, but this is like such a deep layer that I never knew existed. So it's been really such an honor, really a gift.
Yeah,
What about you?
absolutely. And I think it also sheds light on because there is so much people now are looking to different things, right? Like spirituality is like, I mean, just top to blown on so many things, right?
Yeah.
And I think that because as the world is moving faster, I think it's actually creating this where more and more people are going. okay, like something has to give, right? Like the pot boiling, like eventually it can only boil for so long before it like spills over. And so I think more people are looking into different things. And so with that, right, there's like kind of a uprise in like, ayahuasca ceremonies and mushroom, right? And like these different
Yeah,
things
right.
to create that. And then with that though, I think other people are going, okay, do I have to do this, right, in order
Right.
to, right? So it's and not that that's not helpful, right? I'm not
Totally.
against it at all. In fact, I think it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But there are these people that are like, okay, I can only achieve this through that, right? Like I have
Mhm.
to be
So true.
in a monastery in the Himalayas in
Yeah.
order to get to this like
Yeah.
spot. And it's like that's great, right?
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. Like
Yes.
I want to go meet
Yeah.
the Dalai Lama. I want to go sit on
Same.
the Himalaya, right? But I don't
Yes.
have to do that in order to
No.
get to this spot. And so I think that sheds light on that so beautifully. And it could be both, right? You can do your ceremonies, you can go,
Yeah.
up the mountain and all of that. And you can also create that at your home, at the beach, at the,
That's
whatever,
unbelievable. The fact that you
right?
even said this, I didn't even think about that because it's true. I thought being in this world that we're in,
Mhm.
the Yuki world, the spiritual world and connected soul work, I've been doing my whole life. But like really, once I got sober, stopped drinking, and really getting really connected to myself every day, all day, and then started going to these ceremonies. I honestly thought that that's why I prayed for it for so long because I'm like, and then I'd always like back out at the like during ceremony, I'd be like, no, no, maybe not, maybe not. Because I do like maybe that's a little too scary, but like,
Mhm.
so I always, but I never knew. Yeah, this is such. You're right. I am the example of that. I never thought that it could happen without plant medicine. I didn't think I
Yeah,
could get there. God, this is
yeah,
so wow. This has like really made my day. You're right. Like, and like
yeah.
now I'm really excited because in 2 weeks I have a ceremony and I'm so
Mhm.
excited to see what comes up. And then since I'm already this deep, like what else is going to come up? That this is such a great realization, Amber. Yeah. That we don't have
Maybe
to
that should be the
do
name of our podcast. Zippered up ego and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
self-realization Sundays.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, and as all of you that listening, like Yuki Yoshi is our mentor that we've learned so much from in the past year. I actually work with him on his team while Shannon does as well. She does her sound and energy healing. And so we share, different modalities and different things, that he has that have utilized. Like I've actually gotten asked that before, like, well, how has it been for you in this community? And I was like, I know it sounds very cliche, but it's been life changing,
Yeah.
100%. And I've joined other mentor programs prior, and it was like that was a catalyst to get me here. But then this actually created that profound change because I went super, super deep with it,
Yeah.
right? And I'm very grateful for the other programs that I took prior because I wouldn't have been able to hear what he had to say,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But and now it's like I get it, right? Like I get it. And so yeah, the to go back to the point of the death of ego is that it looks different. So for you, right, I feel like it's been this like really profound and seemingly kind of fast, really, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in
I go hard and
time.
fast. When I start doing something, I go hard and
Yeah,
fast. I really do. My
yeah.
brain, yeah, it really does. Yeah.
For me, it was like it
Yeah.
was almost like a slow, agonizing thing.
Oh my, I guess we've never talked
Um,
about this with you. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
yeah, like it's really it was really interesting. I could say that now outside of it, but
Yeah.
in it,
Yeah.
I mean, it was, you talk about like dark night of the soul, right? And all these different things. And so for me, like I used to identify, in fact, a large portion of my life with like depression and different things, that I was labeled with. And so I lived in that, right? So I lived in like noise at all times. I would literally have my TV running at all times. Even if it was like an infomercial in the middle of the, in the
Mhm.
middle of the night, the infomercials start going because there are no TV shows.
Mhm.
Even
Mhm.
that, anything to like drown out the noise that was in my head, right?
Wow.
Like for a large portion of my life, whether it was radio, like TV, something. And
That's wild.
a lot of sleeping. I did a lot of sleeping because
Yeah.
I didn't, again, like you know what I mean, the
Yeah.
to drown out the noise and then also like not deal with what I was feeling because it was so overwhelming for me, right? Obviously identifying with depression, it's a lot of like self-loathing, self-hatred, right? All these things. I think Dr. Joe Dispenza said depression is fear of the past and anxiety is fear of the future. So it was a
Mm.
lot of reminiscing of like, oh man, I remember when this was a good old time and this was this and this and that, right? And just like going over that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of sleeping and a lot of TV, like binge
Yeah.
watching shows. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself when a TV show was over because I let it like literally consume my life, not only with time, but then also with like my energy. Like I would like almost cast myself into the show. Some of the show was over and I went on to be me. It was like I literally didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then I have to show no one. And it was just like this, it was just constant loop of just like just suffering, right?
Oh.
And so for the past like couple years, like we don't really watch TV. Like hardly at all. If I do, it's like a spiritual movie or documentary or some kind of
Mhm.
nature show or like something like that. And so Friday, I had started kind of binge watching like some TV, and it
Mhm.
wasn't even, it was like an educational show. And then I didn't get out of my pajamas that day, which is unlike me, right? And I was like, oh, this isn't taking me back to that old identity. Like, I'm fine. And it wasn't until like later that night that I realized like I was in it again. And it was just
Yeah.
this like 3 days of just constant looping. And then it turned into like that same self-hatred and the self-loathing and like I hate my life and I hate myself and like write all these things. And I was like, what is happening? Like this is not, and I was like aware that it wasn't me. But I was, like when you're on the merry-go-round and you're like, okay, how else do I get off? If I jump at this speed, I'm gonna
Yeah.
break something. So then it's
Totally.
like you're almost like you're literally just on it and you're watching yourself spin
Mhm.
around and you're aware that
Mhm.
you're spinning around, but you're like, how do I get
Mhm.
off? Like I don't want to
Mhm.
die.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was, like metaphorically speaking. And so, did a lot of crying, a lot of crying. I even did the whole like lock myself in my bedroom and like binge watch movies and all these
Oh.
things. And I was like aware the whole time, which was very interesting, right? And then
Mhm.
it was
Yeah.
like the next day, it was like a crack in like the
Mhm.
cave, if you will. Like just
Mhm.
crack of like light. And it was like, well, how do you want to feel? Like, what do you want to be thinking? And then I
Mhm.
was like, what? I don't know. But like the crack got in,
Mhm.
right? And then it was like more and more and more. And then when you said that today, of like, oh, the death of ego, and it like hit me inside. It was like, boom, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because I was being somebody
Me
different.
too.
Like
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. I don't identify with
Right.
depression. Like I don't sleep in my pajamas all day. Like all these things.
Mhm.
And then to step into that,
Mhm.
right? It was like it was actually really it was kind of scary to be honest, because I'm like, that was totally not me
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was like it was a good 3 days that I was kind of in that. But then once the crack in the door happened, right? So to speak, then it was like I could come out of that. But it was definitely it was yeah, it was rather interesting.
Yeah.
And
And it's
so
like the
so
universe showing you what's, do you want to be this? Are you ready
yeah.
to be this? You're saying you're
Hmm.
this, but
Hmm.
look at you could be this. Are you ready? Are you
Yeah.
where are you at? And then
Yeah.
finally you're like, oh, this is a choice. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard, right? When you're in it, when you're in it, when you're in it. I say this all the time. It's so, and I'm not, I'm all about gratitude and I'm all about positivity and I'm all about connection with yourself. But there's sometimes when you just don't have it. You just can't. You're just
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
so in it that you just kind of gotta, like as Abraham Hicks says, take a nap. You can't like you're not gonna get there from here. Stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't like
Hmm.
stop pressuring yourself to like why am I crying? Why am I doing, it's like
Yeah.
stop. Like you're being hard on yourself already. And then just take a nap. You can't get there from here. It's like because we're
Yeah.
so overloaded with emotion, especially once we become more aware in this work. And then we do have negativity. We do have like sadness or whatever we do. I am so hard on myself. And that's another thing I realized right recently is how hard I am. That was the beginning of my ego death and like how realizing how hard I am myself going through like, as we call it, the dark night of the soul, what I went through this summer. I'm like, even the other day, I said to my friend Megan, I'm like, I'm so sorry I keep talking about this. She goes, it's not even been 4 months. And I was like, oh my God, this, you know what I mean? Everything
Yeah.
that my life changing so rapidly and losing someone so close to me and just being so sad and brokenhearted. wasn't even 4 months ago. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I not out of
Yeah.
this? How am I not out of this? I should be out of this. And it's like, that's
Yeah.
insane. You know what I mean? This is a lesson. I've learned the lessons. I should be proud of that. I've been connected to myself the whole time. I should be proud of that. It's like, but instead we like, and I feel like when you are more aware and you do have these, we think like because we're here and we're aware and now we know all these things and we're so connected to ourselves and the universe and we have all these amazing exercises that we should never get sad and we should never be upset and we should never be mad. And it's so ridiculous. And
Yeah.
it's not a thing. We came here for all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. And the
Yeah.
other part too is like I was genuinely like almost I was like shocked because like
You were
I
feeling that way?
remember, huh?
That you were feeling that way?
Yeah. Like I was
Yeah.
like,
Right. Right.
right, because I even like shared with somebody else. I was like, oh, like I went, I was watching TV all day and I didn't, and I'm fine. And then it was like I like the words came out of my mouth, and like an hour later, I was like, no, you're not, right? Because, but I think that's the death of the
It's not
ego
you.
in that, um, that circumstance happened and it brought me to that place again.
Mhm.
But and not but also it showed me like that that isn't you anymore, right? Because now you because that's how I
Totally.
lived. Like that was
Yep.
my everyday all day life. Like you know what I
Mhm.
mean? To even
Mhm.
have a crack in the door of light that never existed, right? So
Okay. Mhm.
it and I think that's the other part too is like as it's dying, it's like trying to rage through with like one more last attempt. Like, hey,
Of
let's
course.
let's watch some TV and let's like not get dressed today and let's like see how that, like maybe we can bring her back with that. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
A lot of people call it a test from the universe. I don't know necessarily know if I don't think it's a test in that like a challenge, like, oh, let's see what you can do. I think it's more of like to show you where you're at,
Mhm.
right? So then you can like change that. So I think,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, we can say test for lack of better terms, but like not in a derogatory
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, let me test you. It's like,
Yeah.
no, no, we're just going to show you where you're at.
Right.
And, yeah. And like sitting in that, because like you said, like so many people, myself included, it's like, we don't want to feel all the non-blissful feelings. So when it
Mhm.
comes up, we're like, quick, how do we get out of it? Quick, 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 quick,
Yeah.
quick. You got a 3 second remedy, like
Crazy.
um, and it doesn't always work that way, right? But the
No.
times that we're in that lesson and lesson, and then they also lose its strength as well. And I think that was part of it is like with the ego is that I'd gone through so many things and it was like I wasn't responding the same way, right?
Exactly.
Wasn't responding, wasn't or reacting, excuse me,
Yeah.
wasn't reacting. So then it was like,
Mhm.
okay, we got to do something drastic to see if
Yep.
she's going to react. And then I
100%.
did, and then I'm like,
Yep.
ooh. But like you said, that's how you let go of that, and understanding that that's not you anymore, and you're not living there.
It's I actually just had this conversation with a coworker last night. He was saying that his life just seems like the same things coming up, coming up, coming up. And I was like, that's because you're not reacting differently. The universe keeps like the thing I went through this summer. There were so many of my, I mean, I've talked about this before, so many of my life lessons that I've already had quite a few times in my adult life. And they came up in different ways, but the same lesson, the same pain, all that. And the universe is like, how are you going to react this time? And because I reacted differently this time to everything than I have my whole life, that karmic circle is gone. I'm no longer that person. This will never come up for me again. And that's what it is. It's like the universe kept like saying, like, how are you going to react? And you kept reacting different and different and different. And then it's like, are you really different? And then you showed it. And then it was like, oh, wait, you went back for a minute. And then the light came in and you're like, oh no, I'm going this way. And so, yeah, it's just, that's how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is beautiful to an example of like how it showed up differently for each of us, right?
Yeah.
How it showed
Yeah.
up differently, and then also like our awareness of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of
Yeah.
kind of like what was happening and why it was brought about.
Yeah.
Because this is so important because a lot of people, like I said, myself included, where you're what's like you almost feel um like you failed or like well I've
Yes.
been doing all this work and like I've
Yeah.
been you know what I mean kind of thing and like how could this happen and like and almost like a guilt if you will of like not with this specifically you know what I mean something that you had already worked on you know
Yeah.
what I mean so yeah I think this could be helpful for people that may be in that they're not feeling amazing um
I also
And
think this is where gratitude comes in when you start feeling that and then you're upset with yourself because you're like, wait, I've done all this healing work. Oh, I do all this spiritual work. I do all of this
yeah,
work. And it's like, calm down, slow down, take a, as much, I love the word pause,
yeah,
get in your body and then be like, and then it's just great to list 5 amazing things about yourself that you have done. You know what I mean? And not to be toxic gratitude,
mhm,
but just to be like, to connect yourself to realize, and you could still be sad and upset, but just be like, it helps a little bit. That lets a little bit of the crack open, a little bit of the light in.
yeah,
It's just like, oh, I am super dope. You know what? I reacted different. You know what? I
yeah,
do this. I do that. And it's just like, so you can like connect to yourself and like really be excited for yourself, really be grateful for all the work you've done because we lose that a lot too. We lose all the work that we've done in like one moment,
yeah,
because we're upset. And it's just, once again, it's a muscle, right? It's,
yeah,
it's a lot.
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, I love this so much. And I love the fact that this it happens. I like it happens like together, like,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
I love it so much. And I'm so thankful. There you go, gratitude that we're on this journey
Like,
together.
yes.
Um, as always, second and fourth Tuesday, Shannon does her sound and energy healing. Super
Yay.
helpful if you want to move some energy,
Yes.
or just practice some things, maybe if you've never tried it before.
Yes.
Very, very
Connect to
helpful.
yourself.
Yes,
Yes.
we'll definitely leave feeling amazing. I can attest to
Mhm.
that. Every Wednesday, we're doing a book study group. So, how to embody that which we're reading, not just read it.
Yeah.
Self-help, as I like to call it.
Yes.
As always, thank you so much for being here. We're so grateful, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.